Have you ever finished a 3D render and felt this guilt inside of you? A guilt that says, you didn't make this. Because it's mostly made up of third-party assets. Like maybe models and photo scans you download from Sketchfab. Or maybe HDRIs you got from Polyhaven. Or maybe textures you got from AmbientCG.com. All you did was model some simple 3D structures and pasted these third-party assets into your scene. Maybe pointed a camera at it and spread some lights around it and called it a day. How can you call yourself an artist if that's all that you did? And how can you call this artwork your own if it's mostly made up of assets made by other people? You felt this, right? Because I felt it. I feel it every day. Because most of us watching here are generalists, I think. We know a little bit about everything and we just use that knowledge to compile things that look good together. We usually just focus on telling the story. We don't care about who made the asset and what texture was used to make it, blah 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 blah. We don't care about that. But still, I can never evade these questions, especially if it's just a single image render and not part of a bigger story or an animation. I can never really call such an artwork 100% my own. And this is why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to share my thoughts on this conundrum and maybe help out other 3D artists who are just starting out who are also struggling with this question. And I also wanted to know what you guys think about this whole situation. So here's what I tell myself when my brain raises these questions. I compare myself to a cook in a restaurant. A cook is never involved in the manufacturing process or the agricultural process of the ingredients that he's using. A cook will usually buy all the spices and the condiments and the vegetables from the market and just focus on making the final meal tasty. And in that process, just adds his unique touch to that meal. Isn't that what we do as 3D artists as well? I think it's a pretty apt comparison. I remember when I came up with this analogy, I felt like a genius. I felt like I'd discovered something new, something that would take the 3D world by a storm. But when I was scripting this video, that's when I realized how dumb this comparison was. Why did I have to go so far for a comparison? A cook? What? A filmmaker. Isn't that what filmmakers do as well? Like an indie filmmaker who doesn't have millions of dollars to make a movie set from scratch also does something very similar, I think. They point their camera at a building or a mountain they did not make. They use the sun for lighting their scene, and they use actors they did not train. All they do is try to find the perfect image, the perfect frame that conveys the story that they're trying to tell. And we as viewers never really say, oh, this filmmaker did not help build this building in the background. How dare he point his camera at it? He's not a real filmmaker. He's not a real artist. We never say that. So I think one of my questions is answered at this point, which is, you can still call yourself an artist even when you've not contributed to every minute detail present in the image. All that matters is the final image and the story that it tells and the personal touch that you've added to it. But I'm still not convinced of the second thing though, which is calling such an artwork 100% my own. Like say for example, if a cook goes out and buys one of those frozen burger patties from the supermarket and also buys some pre-made buns from a bakery and back at the restaurant just heats them up, adds a slice of cheese and serves it to a customer and actually calls this burger his own creation. I don't think that sits right with anybody. Right? Like you can't just download a high quality model from Sketchfab and just put a point lamp beside it and hit render and call that artwork 100% your own, right? I mean you can, but it seems kind of unethical. So the question is, what is the limit? What is the exact amount of effort you need to put into a render to ethically call it your own? And I'm afraid there's no specific definable amount for that. So for example, in this render, I made the traffic light, I made the greebles around the car, but I did not make the car itself, or the ducks, or the water too, because I literally followed a step-by-step tutorial for it. But still, I feel like I put enough effort into the primary and secondary details of this render that I feel comfortable calling it my own work. This artwork, on the other hand, I do not feel comfortable calling my own. This giraffe head was sculpted by another artist. This hoodie was made by another artist. All I did was make the hair and add some interesting lighting around the subject. Whenever someone asks me if I made this render, I always say no. Because I could have never been able to sculpt this giraffe head or even make this hoodie myself. I don't possess those skills yet. So does that mean I can only use assets that I can actually make myself? And the only reason I'm using these third-party assets is to save time? I don't know. I can never tell where the line is. I think I keep working on a scene until I've put enough effort into it that I see my personal flavor in it. I think that's the only answer I've been able to find that I'm comfortable with. Like the time lapse you've been seeing running in the background. That too. I made the pan myself and I made the egg almost by myself. I did use an image from Unsplash, but I think I put a lot of effort into making it look nice and realistic. And the background elements are all from Sketchfab, but I still feel comfortable calling this render my own work because it did take a lot of effort from my end as well. So I feel like the conclusion is, You're good to go until you've put something of your own into the scene. But this is just my opinion. This video is not a conclusive statement that I'm trying to make. I made this video partially because I want to know what other 3D artists think about this whole situation. So please drop a comment down below. Tell me if you agree with me or you disagree with me or what your thoughts are about this whole conundrum. But that's all I had to say on this matter. For now, I leave it up to you guys to carry this conversation forward in the comment section below. Now let's quickly look at a breakdown of this whole scene. I wanted to end the video in the previous section itself, where a lot of people wanted to know how I made this render in the comment section of a time-lapse video I posted a week back. You gotta check out the time-lapse video though. It is unlike any time-lapse video you've ever seen. I promise you that. Have you ever shed a tear watching a time-lapse video? I don't think so. But you will in this time-lapse video. So check it out. What the fuck? The pan was pretty simple, just beveled cylinders for the handle and the bowl part. The material on it is just a grunge texture, driving the roughness to give it that oily, used look. There's also this gradient texture driving these two rusty materials just for the base part of the bowl. The handle is a wood material from the Blender Kit add-on, and this intermediate metal part in the handle is just a simple image texture from unsplash.com. The hand model is from Sketchfab that I rigged myself and posed into position. I added this shade of grey to the original texture of the hand to give it a darker skin tone because a white hand was dragging too much attention to itself. There's also this human model that I usually use for scaling purposes that I've placed just beside the hand, and I've given it this white cloth material so it looks like a chef's uniform. All the background elements are kitchenware models I found on Sketchfab that I'll link in the description below. The stove fire is just an image texture in combination with this thing I learned to make from this tutorial, so I'll link that in the description as well. The omelette is just an image texture I extruded out, but what usually happens with such models is the top and bottom faces are just flat faces, so you can never really apply any kind of displacement on them. So what I ended up doing is running it through a remesh modifier that gave me a lot more geometry to work with, which in turn allowed me to add displacement on the omelette. Not just that, I extruded a height map and a normal map from this image using the materialize application. I'll link a video tutorial for that in the description as well. Around the omelette is just a sculpted gooey cube that I shaped like boiling up oil using a displacement modifier. There's also oil droplets and chili flakes I scattered using the G-scatter add-on. Finally, it was just a matter of adding steam and other 2D elements to the render in Photoshop. And also, I forgot to mention the world nodes had a principled volume node attached to the volume socket as well to bind the whole scene together with this uniform haze you see in the render. And the camera had a focal length of 50 mm with an f-stop of 1.8. And that's it, a little bit of color grading in Lightroom and the scene was done. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below because that's the whole point of this video. Please do that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. A chef that burps on your food. That is scary.